This is Trend Times.
From a ghostly hotel in North Korea that still remains unopened to this day, to an abandoned mental asylum for the chronically insane, we count down the top 10 most amazing abandoned places on Earth. Starting with 10, the Ryugyong Hotel in North Korea goes to show just how mad North Korea really is. Work started on this 105-story hotel only a few years before a massive famine plagued the country. It was abandoned for 16 years, until 2008 when it was coated in $150 million worth of glass. Although now in 2015 the exterior is completed, the interior still remains untouched. 9. These UFO-shaped homes were originally intended to be sold to US military officers when construction on these buildings began in 1978. 2 years later, work was stopped suddenly due to a loss of investment. Built on a site which is believed to be an old Dutch burial ground, many workers committed suicide during the construction of these UFO houses. Number 8. After Superstorm Sandy struck in 2013, this roller coaster was left submerged. The roller coaster stood rusting for 6 months until it was later plucked from the sea. Although some locals wanted the roller coaster to stay as a landmark of the terrible storm, the days of riding the Jetstar are long gone. Number 7. This once bustling city of almost 50,000 people was totally abandoned in 1986 after the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. It has been left untouched ever since the incident, due to the levels of radiation, and will remain this way for thousands of years into the future. Like something out of an apocalyptic movie, nature has overtaken the city, creating an eerie landscape that will stay this way for generations to come. 6. This auditorium opened on the same day that the Titanic sunk in 1912. A supermarket now occupies some of the building, however the rest of the theatre remains deserted. It was used as storage for a while by a tobacco company, and not a lot else has happened since. There are plans by a non-profit organisation to bring back the theatre, but until that day, Massachusetts is left with this breathtaking building. Number 5. The House of the Bulgarian Communist Party was the centre of Bulgarian politics during the Soviet era. Opened in 1981, the Iron Curtain was to fall less than a decade later, forcing the abandonment of the building, which now stands as a symbol of the Soviet regime. The interior of the building is now subject to the elements as a result of people stealing paneling from the building's roof. 4. At its peak, Willard Asylum for the Chronic Insane housed more than 4,000 patients. Between 1869 and 1995, it housed 50,000 patients. Half of these people died within the asylum walls. By the time it closed, most of the patients were eventually integrated back into society. However, they say that in the early days, people didn't leave unless it was in a box. There are numerous reports of the asylum being haunted, and after looking at these photos, it's no surprise. Number 3. It was a century ago that trains began arriving at the Michigan Central Station in Detroit. At the time of construction, this was the tallest train station in the world. It hasn't seen a train in decades, and most of the fine details that once gave the building character and life have been destroyed by vandals. Like a lot of other places in this video, the locals are hoping for the building to be renovated sooner rather than later, but unfortunately it looks very unlikely. 2. These photos are from an abandoned theme park in Belgium. The park closed down 10 years ago after a young boy lost his arm on one of the rides. This was the last straw for visitors who had been complaining about park safety, and attendees plummeted. The park claimed it was closing temporarily for renovations but never reopened. It originally opened under the influence of a local pastor, from a simple playground which evolved into its own independent theme park. Sadly, in 2012 demolition began. And here we have it, number 1. This gorgeous hotel, situated on a cliff face in Colombia, has been shut down since the 90s. The hotel was originally built in 1928, offering a breathtaking view of a waterfall opposite the hotel. Unfortunately, in recent years, tourists have lost interest in a place which was once thriving and luxurious. Many people chose the location of the building to commit suicide, and for this reason, many believe it to be haunted. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to click subscribe. See you next time.